Hello, my name is John Manfo, and this is my database systems final project. The system we'll be looking at today is an exam management system for a fictitious company, Diamond Academy. Diamond Academy is a public high school in Ghana. It has over 2,000 students and faculty. The goal of Diamond Academy is to turn its students into an informed and productive workforce that can contribute adequately to society. In pursuit of this goal, Diamond Academy runs a special set of examinations in different subjects across different courses to reinforce and measure their students' growth. So far, Diamond Academy has been using a file-based system to keep track of information about their examinations, exam questions, students and teachers, as well as how well students perform in those exams. Right. But the file-based system that they've been using has led to a lot of data redundancies, and with the increasing number of students coming in from the free SHS program, their system will not be able to handle this. Thus, they've been advised to switch to a relational-based system. The aim of this project is to build an exam database management system that will allow the management of the information about their exams, exam questions, courses, subjects, teachers, and students, as well as keep track of students' progress throughout their academic journey. The system will oversee all exam management for teachers, students, examination details in such a way that it eliminates the hassle and drawbacks of the traditional mode of keeping track and preparing examinations. So the system will have these proposed functionalities. The system will be able to keep track of all teachers for a course and the subjects they teach, keep track of all courses and their associated exams, keep track of all examinations that students have taken in a particular course, keep track of students' progress through exam grades, generate exams and answer sheets for examiners to use in marking, and lastly, keep track of which subjects students have a harder time passing. To the ER diagram, we start from the top left hand corner. So we have course. Now, course has subjects and a course also has students. For each subject, there's a subject teacher or multiple subject teachers, and those subject teachers are teachers. So the subject teacher is a decomposition between teacher and subject. That is to say that a course can have multiple teachers and multiple teachers can teach the same course. Then a teacher invigilates an exam. So this is under the assumption that the teacher who invigilates the exam is also the one who sets the questions for that exam, and hence is the subject teacher associated to that exam. Now, an exam has exam questions, and those exam questions are from the exam question bank. So from the question bank, a question is an exam question, and then an exam has those questions on the exam. So a question can either be a multiple choice question or a short answer question. It can be both, but it can be one of the two. So students, in the lower right hand corner, we have student. A student is a student exam. That is to say, a student takes an exam. An exam also has a student exam. So that's a decomposed relationship between all students and the exams that they take. And lastly, a student has results. Looking closely into the tables, we look at the logical table derivation. So a course has a course ID, it has a name, and it has a description. A subject has a course code and a referential and references a course ID for which it belongs. A teacher has a staff ID and a reference to the course ID to which course the teacher belongs. Same goes for students. The student has a student ID and a course ID, as well as first name, last name, grade, email, and telephone number. So the question bank has a question ID and the points awarded to those questions. And an exam, we have an exam code and a staff ID. The staff ID here is the invigilator of that exam. An exam has an exam name, instruction, and duration in minutes. Okay, the subject teacher table has the subject code and the staff ID, forming the primary key and foreign key. An exam question has an exam code and a question ID, and then a student exam has the student ID and that exam code. The Results table has a results ID. It references the student ID, the exam code, the score the student got, and whether or not they passed or failed. Then we have the two specialized tables for the question bank, which are either multiple choice or short answer. They have the question ID, the question for the multiple choice. It has the four options it could possibly be and the answer. And then lastly, the short answer has the question and just the answer. Moving on to the SQL implementation. We start off with the course table. It has the course ID, course name, course description. Then we have the subject table, which references the course ID in the course table. So that is the foreign key constraint right there, and then other constraints to further solidify this table. Then we have the teacher table, which has the staff ID, the course ID, their nationality, telephone, and other details. We also check to make sure that their salary is not less than 0. Then we have the subject teacher with its primary key being the subject code staff ID and still references the foreign key, the subject code and staff ID in the teacher table and subjects table. Next, we look at the student, which has a student ID and reference to a course ID. We also check to see that the student grade is between 1 to 4, which are the 4 levels of secondary school. Then next we have exam. We have the exam code, exam name, instruction and duration in minutes. We check to see that the duration in minutes is greater than 10. All exams have to be greater than 10 minutes. Next we look at the question bank. Then we look at the specialized classes, which are the multiple choice and then the short answer. Then we also have the exam questions, then the student exam, and lastly the results table, which has the result ID, student ID. Then we check to see that the score is greater than or equal to 0. Moving on, we have 4 indexes here. These indexes are just to improve the speed of some of our queries. For the first 2 indexes, which are the teacher and student indexes, these were just created to allow faster access to the student and teacher information since they are used often in queries. Next, we have the exam details index. This index was created to ease the task of the order by clause used in the exam queries. That is, in the absence of this clause, the order by in the absence of this index, the order by would have to scan through all records and sort them out, but with this they already come pre-sorted. And lastly, we have the pass fail. So with this pass fail index, it just keeps track of students' progress and generates faster access to those students. Next, we look at the insertions here, and then lastly we look at the queries. So these queries address the 6 functionalities earlier stated. So we'll just run this quickly. Alright, so if we look at the first query, we have keep track of all teachers for a course and the subjects they teach in. So we have the course, business, subject name, organizational behavior, the teacher ID, staff ID, and then that's for the other teachers as well. Then we have keep track of all courses and the associated exams. So that is this query. Then keep track of all exams that students have taken in a particular course. So we look at this, we see that Nathan has taken course natural science and has written the physics midterms as well as Brandis. Then next we look at the keep track of students' progress through examinations. So we see yes, so for this query we look at we first look at those who have passed, right? So we check all the students who passed their exams, and then we can also check all the students who failed their exams as well, right? That's this query here. Then next we generate the exam papers, right? So the word clause can be changed to make it exam specific, but for now it's just all the exam questions in order, all the exams in order with their appropriate questions. Then we look at lastly we look at which subject students generally performed better in. Over here we see that the pass rate for Ghanaian history 1 is 0, which means students hardly pass, and then down here we have the pass rate for governance being 1. So this has been my database project. Thank you for listening.